A deal that was a quarter of a century in the making was formalized with a stroke of a pen in Paraguay's capital, Asunción. Leaders of the South American trade bloc, Mercosur, and the European Union Commission and the EU Council congratulated each other with a palpable sign of relief. The ambitious but controversial agreement to build one of the world's largest trade blocs was almost delayed at the 11th hour because of resistance from farmers in France, Portugal, Poland, and Belgium. They say they can't compete with South American exports produced under less stringent conditions. EU exports to the Mercosur area include chemicals and pharmaceuticals, transportation vehicles, also machinery and weapons. The Mercosur countries export mainly agricultural products, especially beef and grains, but also pulp and paper and essential minerals. But what started as a purely trade agreement has now repurposed into a geopolitical tool to push back against the U.S. administration's policies on trade and beyond. All the leaders expressed support for multilateralism and the need to expand global trade.
We choose fair trade over tariffs. We choose a productive, long-term partnership over isolation.
As the ceremony was underway, President Donald Trump announced he would charge 8 EU countries 10% tariffs for opposing U.S. control of Greenland. But speaking to Al Jazeera, host President Santiago Peña of Paraguay later conceded that Trump's use of tariffs had actually helped accelerate the long-awaited trade agreement.
Absolutely, and this is not the first time in history that this happened. We have experienced multiple occasions in where the war was isolating, was building bridges, were cutting bridges and building walls, and protectionism was something that happened in the 70s and the early 80s, and it failed. So we think that globalization brings a lot of benefit.
But despite the optimism, there are obstacles. The deal must still be ratified by the European Parliament and all members' legislatures first, before it can go into effect, which could prove to be a tall order. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Asunción, Paraguay.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.